Hey, Air Signs. Welcome to Behind the Black Veil, where we get a more intimate look at the mysteries of our lives. There are many layers of meaning to my readings. I'm going to touch on a few. It may or may not resonate. Try to hear me and feel me for best results. Sometimes the roles can be reversed, and viewer discretion is advised. Okay? I feel the need to do this. I don't know why I'm wilding on these videos. These love videos are bringing out some sort of weird fucking sandbox 3-year-old playtime energy in me. Okay. All right. Fantastic. Okay. Sorry if that does something to your energy. Sometimes when people shuffle sloppily like this, it makes me feel sloppily. Okay. So I'm sorry if that's happening, but it's Saturday. It's Saturday night. I guess that makes it all right. And you're saying it's not night. It's clearly not night. Okay? Okay. Whatever. All right. Air sign. Got to be all intellectual all the time. Okay. Fantastic. All right. I'm coming. We're calling it back to order. Order in the court, says the Libras. Order. Order in the court. Okay. Order is coming to the court. All right. There we go. Look at there. Look at there. Order is back in the court. All right. So this is your love reading. Let's find out what's going on in your love affair for those of you dealing with love, for those of you getting into love relationships, in the middle of them, and at the end of them, or in some sort of wacky ass love entanglement situation. Okay, this is for you guys. This bud's for you. All right, let's call out each individual sign. We're going to start with Gemini because that's my boo. Okay, that's my boo. Even though happy birthday, Libras. I'm sorry, Gemini. I'm sorry. Y'all are my boo, but I forgot it's Libra's birthday. I know. Y'all are like, you ain't do that on my birthday. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. I'll give you 2 overall cards. How about that? Everybody's happy, right? Libras go first. Happy birthday. All right. Libra. Libra. All right there, Libra. Overall, pow. Cool cat. Cool, calm, wise decision making cat. That's either you or the dude you're dealing with. Okay, fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. Or you're the dude. You're the dude. It's either you're the dude, or you're the feminine and that's the dude you're dealing with, or you're the feminine and you're still the cool fucking cat, wise decision maker. Okay? Absolutely. All right. Happy birthday to the rest of these humans. Hello? I know that's right. All right. So, Gemini, overall for Gemini, pow, wapow. Oh, no, Gemini. Forced sacrifice of the abundant future, forced sacrifice of your inheritance, forced sacrifice of your baby mama or your mama. Okay? I'm so sorry. All right? I'm so sorry to hear that. Let's get into Aquarii, please. Aquarii. Okay? Last but never least, Aquarii says this, or I should say the ancestors say this to Aquarii. Pow, facing our fears, having courage. I know that's right. All right, being supported by the ancestors, supported by the earth, having all the tools we need to face any kind of threat. I know that's right. Come on, Aquarii. That's how we do it here, around here. All right. So, all right. Now, what's the common denominator for all the air signs? Okay, it was interesting in the fire sign reading, each sign seemed to be the governor of one of the columns. Okay, we'll see how it works out this time, but I found that to be very interesting, even though the main message is the common denominator. Everybody brought something to the table for the benefit of the rest of the fire signs. Very interesting. All right, here's the deal. I'm coming. I'm coming. I just want to lay the cards out, you know what I'm saying? Just cut down on some of that build-up time so I can just talk it out. All right. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm coming. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, the fire signs had some death too. All right, so here's the deal. A lot of fire. What's up with this part of the table? Okay, there was a lot of fire in these two cards in the fire sign reading too. Okay, here we're dealing with karma. Here we're dealing with karma and the passage of time regarding the karma. Something took a long time, or something is taking a long time. Okay, maybe this dude, maybe this wise, cool cat is taking a long time because he also represents taking a long time. You know, taking your sweet time. That's what he represents. Okay. So then we have the karma and the emotions, the intense emotions being kept under a calm, cool surface. Calm, cool cat. Calm, cool surface. Underneath the surface, molten heat. Okay. Glass, metal melting heat. All right. Then we've got the Ace of Wands, more heat, more fire. And then we have divine timing. So it's like some sort of fiery new beginning or passionate new beginning. It's been held down, right? And that's been some kind of karma. It's been bittersweet, right? Because if you're dealing with, the principle of the cool cat, the principle of the wise decision-making person, then that principle, it took a while. So you were not with this person while they were becoming the cool cat, the wise decision-making guy. Okay, so that's a good thing. That's good. Okay, even though that might have been tough or whatever if you already love this person, but that's a good thing. Okay, you avoided the worst of the shit is what you did. Um, so now the fiery new beginning, also reaching out for an opportunity to connect. Somebody may be attempting not to do that, or they can't do it. They're going through karma or some such thing like that. Some sort of divine timing is at play here. Okay, so over here with the dependable guy, somebody might be wanting to make an offering, or they might want to be, giving some money to a baby mama or some such thing like that, or putting some money in their 401k or some such thing like that. Maybe they lost the money that they put in their 401k when they got laid off after the company liquidated everything, you know. I don't know where that's coming from, but, get off on your floor. Also, I'm getting the sensation that somebody is sorry. Somebody wants to give an offering for this maybe forced sacrifice of the future, of the abundant future that's going on that Gemini is bringing to the table. Might have something to do with that component of the energy. Okay, whatever this karma is, somebody is sorry about that, because maybe they had sex with someone else, right? And then, then they made trouble. They made the situation difficult, when everything was fine. I'm going to venture to say. Um, so they got tempted by the Queen of Wands, okay? And or whatever happened with the karma could have to do with time, something taking too long. You feel me? And therefore, they want to have this, they want to get back to this, So they're trying to, get their self together to make you an offer, and they know it's going to be difficult to do. So they are trying to, get it all together so they can make it right, and y'all can thug this thing out. Here, we've got the Ace of Air, okay? Ace of Wands, Ace of Air, Ace of Fire, Ace of Air. So some truth, somebody wants to face it. That's the wisdom Aquarii is bringing to the table. Somebody wants to face the truth. They want to have the courage to mobilize your energy, or to mobilize the energy of the person who was wronged, or where the imbalance was, they want to balance it back. They want to be able to activate this energy that's available for assistance in whatever way you serve them, in whatever way you nourish them. They want to be, and since you're holding back and you're not moving, you know what I mean? They want to, they want to motivate that, and they want to inspire your movement. And that's real and true. And they want to have a death of the ego. They want to just keep it real with you. Okay? It appears here that they don't want to play no games. Play no games. Okay? They're feeling empowered by whatever this truth is. Or they may be ready to empower you with the truth. That's powerful. That's powerful. All right, well, let's go into the karma, the passionate, intense emotions being kept under the cool, calm surface, the bittersweet of God's judgment. Let's go into it. The ancestors say this. Big old tower. Big old tower. Okay, now here's the tower. Let me get one more on there. I see. The tower is that you cut them off. That's the tower. And I get the sensation that goes both ways on some level. On some level, y'all cut each other off. Okay, but you're the one who's still sitting prettily. Whoever was the one who was righteous in the first place is still sitting prettily in this situation, in this scenario, because they're the divine child of God and God admires them. You see what I'm saying? God admires them. So on some level, they are held away from the worst of whatever this tower is. And I get the sensation that that's why you had to cut this person off, or that's why, if you're the one who's wrong, that's why they had to cut you off, because you was causing karma. You was bringing karma. You was making suffering, or they were making suffering if they're the ones who fucked up. They were creating suffering where there was no suffering. You see what I'm saying? So you had to cut them loose. I'm not sure why they wanted to upset you. Maybe they made you sick. Okay, I don't know. But either way, you saw that this situation was going to become a problem. Okay? And so the karma, the bittersweet of the karma, was maybe you didn't want to be away from them. You didn't want to cut them off. But you went through the karma of cutting them off and the tower of cutting them off, because you knew that if they kept behaving the way they were behaving, that's off card. I don't really, in the case where somebody had sex with somebody else, if that's your floor, boom. Maybe it was an ego issue, because them having the death of the ego is meaningful right now, so maybe they were struggling with their ego. Either way, you saw their behavior was going to become a problem for you. You wanted to make sure that it stayed a problem only for them. If it's going to be a problem, let it be your problem. That's what you said. If it's going to be a problem, it's going to be your fucking problem. It's not going to be my problem. So you cut them loose before they had a chance to really become your problem. Right? And so, before it became any worse than it already was. It's like being diagnosed, for instance, with a disease that can be healed. So it's already a problem if you diagnose with the disease, but if you nip it in the bud, you stopping it from getting to be a really worse problem. You feel me? And so that's the sensation that I'm getting here, that happened here. And so, you kept whatever your feelings were, sexual desire, whatever that it was, passion or intensity. You kept that under the calm, cool surface. And that also might have triggered a whole nother tower. Like your behavior and your response to the karma they tried to put you in caused an even bigger tower for them. Right? Like, okay, problem. I guess they thought that y'all was going to sit there and be miserable together, or, I don't know what the fuck they thought. but they wasn't ready, for you to do the, counter cut. They cut you, you counter cut them. They wasn't ready for the counter cut. You see what I'm saying? Right? Okay, cool. So you're good, right? Even though you've been through the shit, right? So let's go further. Okay, big message. Big old message. Passionate new beginning. Oh, yeah, you can see. Oh, you can see, and this explodes someone's tower. The fact that you were able to receive this message of whatever their behavior was. You know what I'm saying? You can see the root cause clearly. Now, it appears here that they may not have been aware of the fact that you were keeping your intense emotions under a cool, calm surface. They might have thought you had no emotions about this thing. You know what I mean? So the fact that you had all of this fiery passion up under the cool, calm surface may have further exploded their tower, and then you're a divine child of God, you get what you want, and ultimately you'll be fine. Maybe they tried to cause you to have extra bad karma. Then when you had great fucking karma, even though you went through a difficult time, and then the cherry on top is they're cut off, that exploded yet another tower for them. They feel like the reason why you were able to avoid this trouble is because you're a divine child of God. Okay? Is because you are determined to avoid trouble. You are determined. Like, okay, side note, I'm from New York City, for those of you who don't know. So I was hanging out in the village, right? And I had met up with my homeboy. And so, he used to be a street pharmacist back in the day, and that's essentially how we met, and it became, years of friendship. So I hadn't seen him for a while. Boom. So we in the village, we used to have a little, little thing that never really got off the ground or whatever. It wasn't nothing serious. There was no real big drama behind why that happened. We weren't aligned, you know what I'm saying? So anyhow, so we're in the village and he's like, yo, I need to get some weed. I forgot to bring my weed with me, or he didn't bring enough weed. This is like a 8 blunt a day kind of guy, you know what I'm saying? So he was like, yo, I got to get some more weed, and we don't know nobody, like we in the village, but we don't like, you can't walk up to somebody's house or just call somebody local in the neighborhood. We didn't have any connections. I mean, surely there's many connections in the village, but I'm just saying we didn't have none. And I'm getting to the point. All right, hang on. And so he's like, yo, I'm going to find weed. Yo, I got a skill. You know what I'm saying? I can find weed anywhere. And I know what he means by that. I do. Okay. But I usually do that in the hood. You know what I'm saying? I will straight find the medicine man. There's no problem. I will find him. Okay. Absolutely. But in the village, that's a little bit, mainstream. Okay. And where you don't know the terrain, you don't want to fuck around with law enforcement and things of that sort, right? I mean, that's what I say. I mean, if you absolutely must take a risk, then by all means take a risk. But I was like, we don't really need to risk our lives and freedom, okay, around this thing. And while you're probably right, you could easily find someone, you know what I mean? But at the same time, in your search, and because of what you have to do in order to find out, you may get yourself in trouble or attract some undue attention. You feel me? And what I love about myself is I have no rap sheet. Do you feel me? I'm from the hood. Hello? And best believe I have done what hood people do in the course of my lifetime. Okay? Believe that. And I take great pride in the fact that I have no rap sheet. And meanwhile, I'm looking at this brother and I'm like, how long is your rap sheet, nigga? Right. Let's do my way. Let's do it my way. My way equals no arrest. That's how my way works. Okay? My way equals You're not on the ID channel starring in Snapped or Evil Lives Here. You feel me? Just generally speaking, So he was like, like, damn, I was like, yo, you know what? I'll meet you over here when you're done. You know what I'm saying? Because, I'm not about to ruin my fucking night because you needed a blunt. You needed your 9th blunt for today. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not worth it, dude. And he was all feeling constricted and feeling some kind of way. And I was like, but look at yourself, dude. You have a rap sheet. Hello? Right. Right. Okay. So you're not tight enough with your game. You're not tight enough. And so you're not going to be pulling me down the fucking rabbit hole. I don't think so. Okay, boom. That's what I think happened here. Somebody wanted to pull you down a rabbit hole. All right, sorry that took so long. Somebody wanted to pull you down a rabbit hole for whatever reason. And you was like, no, you go. And you let them tumble down the rabbit hole. They might have tried to push you down the rabbit hole and maybe you grabbed the walls or some shit so you didn't go all the way down. Maybe you Spider-Girl or Spider-Man or some shit. You grab the walls like, not going all the way down there, right? But meanwhile, who the fuck can do that? You know what I'm saying? And then you also have to find a way to get back up with no rope. You got to, don't fall, all of that. So I'm sure you were feeling some kind of way, with your intense emotions under the cool, calm surface. That might have been your tower, that somebody you loved tried to pull you down a fucking hole. Like, really? You know what I'm saying? Or pull you into a sunken place or whatever that it was, where they were, or whatever. Yeah, so you just shook them off you, cut them away, like a scalpel, right? Like an air sign with your sword, cut them away, and they continued to tumble because they had you tethered to them, right? So you cut the tether and grabbed onto the walls of the hole. I'm on some Hollywood shit right now, I promise you that. Right? So you grabbed onto the wall and you climbed up, and it I think it took some muscle, right? Because it's karma here. There's a tower here. So that was difficult, right? But you are a divine child of God, and they feel like that's why she got out the hole. That's why he got out the hole, because they're a divine child of God, because they cut the tether. Right. That's right. Air signs cut the tether. That's right. Very good. Whoever that was. Okay. Very good. That is the laws of physics. Very good. Okay. So, so this sent a big message to them. They didn't realize that you was about that life. They didn't know you had a knife in your back pocket. They didn't know you carry a knife, metaphorically speaking. So when you grabbed onto they didn't know you had them Navy SEAL fucking techniques where you could grab onto the hole, to the walls. They didn't know you knew how to do that. They just knew it was a done deal. They knew it was a wrap when they pushed you down that hole and they wanted you to be in that sunken place, right? All of a sudden, they kicked you down the hole like, this is Sparta, like that. And you're like, douche, falling into the hole like, no, this motherfucker did, and right? And then, and they're standing there like, yeah, bitch, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's how we do it here in Sparta, you know what I'm saying? And then you grab the wall and shit, and they were like, oh shit, wait a minute, you know what I'm saying? Crawl back out of that motherfucker. And they was like, uh-oh, you know what I'm saying? Like that. That's the sensation that I'm getting here. Sent a big message. Oh, you didn't know I had that kind of passion? Okay. You thought you was the man, but I'm the one with the balls? Right. Okay. Right. All right. Here we go. Reaching out for an opportunity to communicate, divine timing. New beginning. After, some destruction. The tower. And protecting what matters most. They understand why you cut the tether. They understand. You're a divine child of God. You were not allowed to be kicked into the sunken place. You were not allowed to fall down the hole and die. You know what I'm saying? Not forever. anyway. You know what I'm saying? So you're not the person you were before they kicked you in the chest and tried to murder you, right? Or toss you down the hole and capture you, whatever the fuck they were trying to achieve. Make you have bad karma. You're not allowed to have bad karma. Now they know why you had to cut them off, because you're a divine child of God. You're not allowed to have bad karma. Little challenge here, little challenge there. Ending up in the hole, that's not your life. They tried to make that into your life because they're in the hole. And you know how misery is, right? So I don't understand this whole new beginning business, okay? Because this seemed real ugly to me, you know? But this is a person you clearly love, else they wouldn't be up in your love reading. Hello? Right. Okay. So now they're sorry, maybe. Let's see. Let's find out. They want to make this new beginning happen. They want to reach out for an opportunity to connect. They want to have a passionate new beginning. Which is a weird, continuation of you kick me down the hole. Okay, so what it is, what it is. Yeah, they're sorry. They love you. You're so enchanting. You're so wonderful. You're so magical. You're so sparkly. Um, that was really the deeper meaning of their actions. They did what they did because they love you. Okay, for anybody who remembers All My Children, do we remember Adam Chandler and how much he loved people? Would love them, okay? And then proceeded to try to ruin their fucking life, okay? Whether it was his children, his lovers, he just loved them so much he was just betraying them like a fucking Olympiad, okay? If it was a sport, this motherfucker would have brought home the gold, okay? I promise you that. So that's the sensation that I'm getting from those cards. They're so sorry. They love you. It really was all about that. It's because you're so enchanting. They want a new cycle with you. What was I thinking? Here, take this offering. Here, I'm so sorry. That's what I get there. Okay, so and that's no hate on nobody who's willing to, face and take responsibility for what they did, but I feel free to beat you in the head though. You know what I'm saying? Until the debt is paid, I can take chunks out of you. You know what I'm saying? I can do that because you owe a debt, so I can come and collect every now and again. I can do that. I can dip into your account, your karmic account, and I could just take some change off the top. I can do that, if you're not in good standing. You know what I'm saying? Until you get in good standing. When you get in good standing, then I'll clean up my act a bit. You know what I'm saying? So there it is. So whoever this person is, they are not yet in good standing. They want to make an offering. I don't know if they have. Doesn't look like they have. Looks like there's a proposal on the table, and the proposal may only be in their mind. They may be only getting it together in their mind what they want to do, but it may not yet be getting done, or they just proposed it and you have not yet accepted. Okay, which means we don't have the receipt yet for them leveling up. Okay, so in light of that, I can you know I can slice veins and I can beat them in the head. You dig it? Fantastic. All right, let's find out about the Queen of Wands. Okay, so what the Queen of Wands did was she said something. Okay, because I have two queens in one column. That does not bode well. That does not bode well. All right. I suspect that there was a combination of chemistry and lies that equaled the deception that this masculine clearly brought hook, line, and sinker, which caused, you know, him to now be so sorry and be trying to make an offering and no, I love you. Or this could be something he said to you in order to get you to have sex with him, and it was a lie. And maybe now he's in love and he's so sorry and things are different, and things have evolved. So now he's, originally he was just trying to get you in the bed, but now he loves you, and oh, please forgive me for that initial lie, yada yada fucking yada, right? Okay, great. So let's talk about this thugging it out situation here. It's right here. Let's talk about it. He's gonna have to thug it out because you have mastered your fiery emotions. You ain't trying to budge on the emotion, the fire, the passion. Nope. You dig what I'm saying? Not at all. Not at all. Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, things have changed. They know that. They know that. That's why they trying to make a big old offering, King of Pentacles status. Okay? Not no little ass offering. It's a big ass offering. Because they know that the wheel has turned. You know what I'm saying? It spun. They action spun the wheel. They fucking around with karma. They trying to fuck your karma up. You know how much that costs? You know how much you got to pay for that debt? That takes years to work off. Right? So that's where you at with it. Like, buddy, you're going to have to put in years of your life to make up for this. Okay? Let alone the little things you're doing in the course of that year. You feel me? Right? And you're okay with it. Like, hey, if you're up to it, it's all good. But you don't want no kind of outstanding debt like that on you. That's why you don't have no rap sheet like me. If you're anything like me, that's why you don't have no rap sheet. You see what I'm saying? Right. Because you the master of your fiery motherfucking emotion. Simple. Okay? Let other people have the problems if they determine to have the problems or take the risks. So have the problems. All right? It's not your problem. You don't have to say sorry, or you don't have to come up with no offering or whatever. I'm speaking loosely here. Okay, so let's go over to the Ace of Swords, why don't we? How long we been here? Probably too long. I'll be talking my ass off on the air sign videos. Okay, whatever. I can't even see. Is my glasses out here? Nope. All right, whatever. Okay, if it's long wind, then it's long wind. The devil. Yes. Someone can see that it's true what you say about the devil. It's true what you said about the devil. Whatever you said about the devil. Yeah, the devil has come in between your relationship. Some toxic person, place, or thing. Right? Has come into the middle of your relationship and separated you. That's true, they say. Okay? Both people can see that's true. You probably knew right away. Right? If you're here, you might be the spiritual one in the scenario, and you might have had that insight right there. And perhaps they didn't believe you or take